Hey guys, I'm Alastair from Trail and Kale, and this is my Saucony Triumph 22 review. I'm just a regular guy who absolutely loves running and reviewing the latest running shoes and gear. My 5K PR is 20 minutes, which I'm always trying to beat. I've run countless ultra marathons around the world, and my favourite distance is the cheeky half marathon. Road or trail, I love running on them both. I'm not afraid to let you know when a running shoe is crap, but also you're definitely going to know when one blows me away. Either way, our independent running shoe reviews are always 100% honest, reliable, and hopefully you'll come away from this video having learned something new. So if you caught my Triumph 21 review last year, then you'll know I really enjoyed the ride of the shoe. It was super cushioned, supportive in the upper, had good stability, and overall it was just a super comfortable, plush daily trainer. Well, with the Triumph 22, you're kind of getting more of the same. It has been revamped, so it does look quite different. Most of the updates are actually coming in the midsole here, and that's probably the first thing you're going to notice being different. Certainly the first thing I noticed. And so it's really the plushness and the ride that Saucony has updated on this shoe. That's really what they've been trying to improve with the Triumph range. So to summarize for the Triumph 22, who is it targeted at? What's it best at? What kind of shoe is it? Well, it's a very plush daily trainer, just for getting in those easy runs, but also for those runners who want to maybe push on their run. So they like to go for maybe runs up to 10 kilometers, a few times a week, maybe 4 times a week, but also they want to get faster. Then this shoe is going to be really good for you. But because it's so supportive in the upper, has good stability as well, super comfortable and plush, nice and easy on your knees, it's also a very good lifestyle shoe. So anyone who's on their feet all day at work, or just needs a walking shoe as well as a running shoe, this is very versatile because it will be very good for those situations too. Time to go over the key stats then. They cost $160. Keep watching to the end of a review and I'll let you know if I believe they're worth that $160 price tag. How do they fit and how do they feel? Well, they're definitely true to size, but they do feel a little bit larger than the previous version. That's not to say I would recommend sizing down. It feels like the extra space within the shoe has been designed to be there, to hopefully stop people sizing up, because we don't believe you should have to do that. A good running shoe should have a bit of extra space built into it, so you should never really have to size up if the shoe has been designed properly and your feet have been measured properly as well. So there's a nice bit of room in there. If you do have wide feet, however, I would recommend going with the wide version of this shoe. They have a 10mm drop from heel to toe. That's 37mm off the ground at the rear, which is fairly high, and 27mm off the ground at the toe. Interestingly, the drop does feel a little bit higher than 10mm from my experience. The Triumph 22 now weighs 10.5 ounces, whereas before the Triumph 21 weighed 9.7 ounces. For all the accountants out there, that's an 8% increase in weight, and that's certainly going to be coming from this midsole. And the midsole is using PWRRUN PB foam, so that's Saucony's nice plush foam, but it does also have a good amount of response. The outsole does have rubber compound. Some running shoes do not, by the way. They kind of have a continuation of the midsole foam, which doesn't provide very good durability or grip. So it's great that Saucony does have a rubber outsole, and you can see they've put that rubber compound just where it's required. So the reason for not coating the whole outsole with a rubber compound is that compound is heavy. It's a heavy component of a running shoe. So you will notice shoe brands try to kind of limit where they put it and make sure it's on areas where it's been needed the most. The Triumph 22 is available in other colorways, and like I said before, it's available in a wide version as well, should you need it. Well done, you made it to my performance review. Thanks for sticking with me. I'm just going to start by talking about how they feel on the run, because this is what's so special about the Saucony Triumph 22. It's so comfortable to slip your foot into because the upper is super cushioned. So if you look around the collar of the shoe and the heel counter at the rear, look how thick that is. I mean, that's just so plush and cushioned. You can just imagine how that feels when you slip your foot in. This continues with the tongue as well, nice and cushioned. Also, fairly stretchy, and that's really nice. I'll overlay an image now so you can see me pulling that tongue up and getting a really nice fit. Interestingly though, the tongue does not have a loop to feed your laces through. It's interesting, I'm not sure why some running shoe brands leave that out. Seems like maybe a little bit of an oversight, or maybe it's just not needed on these particular running shoes because it does have an internal gusseted sock, which you can see just here. That's the section that joins the tongue to the top of the midsole essentially. And actually I haven't felt this tongue slipping down at all, so that's probably why they left out the loop. It's not needed for these shoes. So super comfortable to actually put your feet in, and that continues on the run. It's just almost cloud-like. Very similar to the Saucony Triumph 21 for that matter. But I do feel the extra weight coming from the midsole. You can actually, when you're holding this shoe, it's very obvious that most of the weight is in the midsole. However, that doesn't really affect the run for me. I really enjoy how these feel. There's plenty of plush cushioning underfoot, so if you are an older runner and you are worried about your knees feeling the impact of a run, then I think you're really going to enjoy these because it does absorb a lot of that impact. But at the same time, that PWRRUN PB foam does have a good amount of response. So like I said, these are a daily trainer for getting in easy miles. But you are going to feel like you might want to push on some runs. And that's really good because a lot of runners out there generally want to get better. They want to see their times getting better because it's a confidence booster. So having a shoe that you can just do easy miles and feel like you want to push when you're feeling good on a particular day is actually really nice to have. The upper also has a nice loop at the rear. If you remember my review of the Saucony Triumph 21, it had kind of a horizontal loop, which I didn't really like. It was just felt a bit awkward to put your finger in and slip the shoes on, so it's nice to see they've gone back to that vertical loop at the rear. Now the only complaint I have about the Saucony Triumph 22 is the drop. I mentioned this earlier. It's a 10mm drop, but it does feel higher than that. So if you do plan to run more than 10 kilometers, you might start feeling that drop in a negative way. And I say that in terms of biomechanics. So if you imagine my arm as being my leg, mind blown. If I had a zero drop, my leg would be straight up like so. The higher you increase that drop, it's kind of forcing that leg forward. And the reason for that is to give you more an aggressive forward leaning stance. But the problem with that is you are actually putting more weight on your knee, denoted by my fist. And you notice that over longer distances. So I always recommend if you're running longer distances or for longer times, you're going to benefit from a lower drop. Unless you're running really fast in, say, a super shoe, for example. When you are running on your forefoot, you might not notice that as much. But for a daily trainer, you 100% notice that because you're not having such a large stride. You're kind of focusing more on a higher cadence or a shuffle for some people. So if you do want a shoe for running longer distances, let me know in the comments. I'll get you hooked up with a lower drop shoe, which will be better suited to you. That said, if you're not going to be running over 10 kilometers, then this shoe is awesome for you. It's super cushioned, very plush underfoot, very supportive upper, and very stable platform because it's very wide around the forefoot and the heel. That means if you do have pronation issues, this actually keeps your foot nice and stable. It doesn't allow for that kind of rocking pronation motion. So that's really good if you do have subtle pronation. You will really appreciate the stability of this shoe as well. Well, that's it for me and my Saucony Triumph 22 review. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give the video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. And don't forget to ring that notification bell. That will tell you as soon as new videos drop so you don't miss the latest from us. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.